I know Dave Grohl. He seems like a pretty cool guy.
Yes, he's a pretty chill guy here.
Yeah. You'll get my unedited opinion of what Nirvana sounds like.
This one just sounds heavy, sludgy, and just messy.
Welcome back to Aurora Music Works. So it turns out that Nirvana are actually amazing. Now, if you've seen our Strokes video, which you can check out on a card just up here, we dive in, well, you dive in, and how they produce and record their guitar parts and how it works to make the sound. So we're doing that again with Nirvana, and with you recording these snippets, it turns out that it's actually quite complicated, and to get the Nirvana sound, it's quite amazing.
Yeah, the complexity is in the fact that it's not very technical. It's all about Kurt Cobain's like pretty simple way of playing, but it's very feel-based and it's very aggressive, and it's actually hard to get it if you're a more technical player, I'd say, because you're trying to get the notes right, but you're not getting the feel of it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, and I think that's what makes them unique.
And I thought that when you were recording it, because you're a very clean technical player, as you may have seen on this channel, which you can subscribe down below for. But seeing you try and record the arguably messiness of Kurt Cobain was quite amusing, where you kind of had to turn off that switch.
Yeah, definitely. You don't just want to read the tabs or like learn it from a video. You want to listen to the music as much as possible and just get the feel.
And the other really cool thing about this is actually the guitar that we're using. So we're using the Cream T LT Crossfire in graphite metallic. And what I love about this is that we can change the pickups, and we will be throughout this video.
Yeah, I picked this guitar because Kurt Cobain used quite a few different guitars throughout his career, but he did like an offset shape. I know that, and I like an offset shape.
Yeah.
So I went with a Crossfire. The other thing is, I'm not a huge expert on exactly what pickups he used. I know he used some single coils, he used humbuckers. Some people claiming that he used P90s as well. I don't know. There's probably other people who can tell you exactly what he used, but for some of the riffs in the early part of his career, I used these single shots, which are humbucker-sized single coils.
Yeah.
And then you'll see us sometimes switch over to some Seymour Duncans for a more fat, saturated sound. But some of the riffs that we're going to show are actually a bit more clean or just like edge of breakup. And I thought, just through listening, I was like, I'm going to use my best judgment. I'll go for the single coils.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And you know Nirvana better than I, so like the Strokes, you'll get my unedited opinion of what Nirvana sounds like. Should we dive into the first song?
Yes. Well, I was actually going to ask you first, like, do you know like just the most simple background, who Nirvana are?
I know Dave Grohl. He seems like a pretty cool guy.
Yes, he's a pretty chill guy here.
Yeah. I know it's like the Strokes, where I know Smells Like Teen Spirit, because everyone does.
Yeah.
And Heart-Shaped Box, but I only know that because I had to learn it years and years ago for a cover band. But that's it.
Okay.
So I don't really have...
do you know where they're from?
Actually, no.
Okay. They're from the state of Washington in the United States. That's where like the grunge movement started.
Yeah.
They started in the late 80s, and actually Dave Grohl wasn't the original drummer.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't, was he?
Yeah, he didn't drum on the first album, which came out in 1989. It was called Bleach.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dave Grohl's actually not on that record. He came in for the big album in 1991, which is called...
The big album in 1991.
Nevermind.
Oh.
So Nevermind was the massive, like game changer of an album. Had Smells Like Teen Spirit, as you said, Come As You Are, some of the other tunes that we're gonna talk about as well. They've only actually released 3 main studio albums. They've also got like live albums and like a B-side compilation kind of thing. In a short span of time, they obviously had like a massive impact, and they were hugely popular.
Okay, I'm excited to hear some riffs I haven't heard. Oh, there's a lot to unpack with this one. In a good way, I think the thing that, again, I think I mentioned earlier in the video that I quickly learned is how intricately messy he is as a player. So this has just got a huge fuzz behind it, but yet you can hear all of the intricacies.
Actually, when recording these, I sometimes get the riffs wrong. I don't play them like technically correct, but I decided to leave it in because of how like messy it sounds. This is one I chose the single coils for this one because I think from what I read, I think they are single coils on this record. I could be wrong. This one was from their first album, and it's a lot more like sludgy and a bit heavy and punky compared to like their later, slightly more polished and produced sound. On Nevermind, the album that followed this one, they changed the producer. So this one was Jack Endino, I think his name was.
Okay.
Changed producer to Butch Vig, and they really they refined their sound on that album. But this one just sounds, heavy, sludgy, and just messy. And it's got some great riffs. I think Kurt Cobain himself didn't feel as connected with this album personally, if I remember correctly, because he said there was pressures from the label at the time to sound like other bands that were on their roster. It's almost like a doomy stoner rock sound. It's very low tuning, which we'll get into actually. It's in a weird drop C tuning. That last note is a semitone sharper than it should be for drop C.
I like to think the writing process for that was, I want this thing, I can't quite get this thing, so I'm just going to tune up the string. Yeah,
the reason I think they do that is for that last chord. So, that's a really cool chord actually, because it's like a major, it's like a dominant 7 chord. It gives that really bluesy, slightly dissonant feel, which is cool. But yeah, it's like just a very heavy, sludgy riff.
It is. It's kind of like he wrote it as if like, I want to play this thing because I'm feeling these ways, and I don't want anything in my way.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to tune it like this because that's how I'm going to do it, rather than the theoretical way. Yeah. And I just love that.
So the basic riff starts with this kind of repeated line of. Which is just very kind of like doomy and bluesy almost. And then I think he follows his vocal line, which is really cool. So he's singing in this like drony, bluesy way, and he's copying that kind of melody with the guitars. That's a really like creative riff, I'd say. It's like mimicking the vocal line, but in a very bluesy way.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I'd say like if you wanted to go for this early Nirvana sound, just go for that kind of heavy, down-tuned, scrappy tone.
Yeah.
And just lean into the more bluesy side of the band, because you don't hear that as much on later records.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Should we go riff 2? So this one just sounds, you can almost see, and I haven't actually seen any of the live footage, so I'm just kind of making this up from what I can hear. It sounds like it's just a massive tune. They're just all just going for it. It's very in your face, just that. Yeah,
straight from like the first chord and like the drum fill on the original Dave Grohl's just leading into it.
Yeah.
This is from Nevermind, so this is one of the very famous tunes from that album. I mean, most of that record is like all the tunes are very well known.
Yeah.
It's just like so impactful, so full and fat sounding.
Yeah.
So this one I did use the humbuckers instead of the single coils. I don't actually know if they are recorded on humbuckers, but they just sounded, it was a good like rich fat sound.
Yeah.
So
it's so easy to change with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm using the JB in the bridge and the jazz in the neck.
Yeah, so these are the Seymour Duncan pair.
Yeah,
really nice.
but I'm still in the old tuning, so we'll have to tune back up because that last one was in that weird drop C kind of tuning, and now we're going to standard.
Yeah, so with the magic of editing, you'll just see that now. It's amazing how, tone-wise, kind of how delicate it is because it's such a powerful, fuzzy tone. Anything you do outside of playing is just mess.
Yeah, you want to be messy, but you also want to be kind of still a little bit like tasteful with it. So
yeah,
he does transition like from chord to chord with just like sometimes just like a hitting the open strings. That kind of works as a transition thing. But yeah, he just uses like these fat power chords.
Yeah.
And you just want to get those right. But yeah, I mean, This song was slightly more produced sounding if you hear it. Like Kurt Cobain wanted to keep the album as raw and authentic as possible. But like, as you know, when you're in the studio, you use this like stereo field. So you'll record left and right and panning and double tracking. And I think Kurt Cobain was very like hesitant to do that, basically saying that's not how we sound like live.
Yeah.
So it's cheating. But Butch Vig's argument was like, well, you're using the studio. The reason why bands go into the studio is to use the magic of the studio and like use the production quality that you have available to you. I know that he said when it came to the vocals, he finally agreed to do like double tracks because Butch Vig would say John Lennon he would do double tracking. And Kurt Cobain was a massive Beatles fan and John Lennon fan, so he finally was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. So this album, compared to the previous one, and actually compared to the following one, because the following one, they wanted to kind of go back to their roots. This one sounds the most just like fat and produced.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I'm imagining them all in the room recording at the same time, like doing it live, because that's how you do it. That's the feeling they want to get across. So this riff is also in kind of two parts, because you've got the intro part, but it moves on a little bit.
Yeah,
where it goes to the chink, 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 chink.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all in around like the key of B flat, but it's a bit weird because it starts off with it seems like it's in B flat major, you could say, because that's B flat to G. It's all power chords, so there's no major or minor, but I would just say that's a B flat major and a G minor, which would be in the key of B flat. Down to F, which still could be major, but then that A flat is part of the minor key center, so they changed it up a little bit there. And then in the main riff section, which goes which is really cool.
Yeah, it really is.
That then switches it up, so it doesn't really feel as major now because he hits that chord, the G flat, which would now be in the B flat minor. And then he goes from B, A, back to B flat, so he's doing like almost like a semitone up and then a semitone down and then hits the root. So it's that lot of tension.
Yeah.
It's cool how he kind of ignores harmony. I think that's a thing that you could take away from his like songwriting, was that very not technical, but it's all about the aggression, the feel, and interesting harmony as well. He's not just sticking to like, basic rock riffs. He's kind of moving it around. Yeah.
Cool.
I'd say just like lean into that. Like don't worry so much about what notes are in the scale or what chords you're used to hitting. Just move it around and see what sounds good.
I like it. Riff 3. Before we get into this riff, again, what's really interesting about all of these is that you've kind of chosen ones that have different pickups, in our case, and different tunings. So we actually, again with the magic of editing, need to tune this one, it's E flat, is this one?
Yeah, so we went from drop C weird tuning to standard, now we're going back down to E flat. I really should have probably thought about this.
This is more fun. Yeah. It's almost like Aurora Music works as a distributor and we could have just had multiple guitars. But we can move past that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's tune this one up.
Yeah, we'll tune up.
Right, E flat.
Yes, we are now in E flat. So when I recorded this one, I used the single coils because again, I just thought they sounded good for this riff. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what we're gonna do.
Well, I was gonna say, because when listening back to this one, it sounds, I almost thought Britpop. So if you've seen our Britpop video, which you can check out by subscribing to the channel, it's got that kind of dual layer of fuzz underneath the clarity on top, and that's the sound that you kind of got for this one as well, which is really interesting.
This to me sounds very like Beatles inspired.
Interesting.
It's like jangly, it's like they're using dominant chords, open chords, rather than like a beefy riff. It's like almost like a bit happy sounding and jangly. But yeah, this one came out on In Utero, which was 1993.
So whereabouts is that from what we've listened to?
So we started out in 1989.
Yeah.
with Bleach. Then
On the no Dave Grohl scale.
yeah. Then we get Dave Grohl, and we're on Nevermind, 1991.
Yeah.
Massive boom in popularity, more produced sound at the peak, like, you know, basically the face of grunge. Nirvana become that. And now we're in 1993, and we've switched producers again. They went from a more produced sound to now they want to go back to their roots, and they changed from Butch Vig to Steve Albini.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of him.
Nope.
So he was known to the band and like revered by the band because they loved the Pixies.
Okay.
And he produced the first Pixies album, which was, you know, like quite raw and like bare bones and gritty. And I think they wanted to recapture that sound. They asked him to produce the album. And so you can hear it in utero, sounds significantly different from Nevermind. There's less double tracking, less of a massive polished sound.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone loves Nevermind, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone loves In Utero, and it's just down to personal preference which vibe of record you prefer.
Which is quite a powerful thing to do for a band, to go from we've made it and then going, no, we're not going to do any of the things that we did on there. We're just going to record it exactly how we want. Is very grunge. It's very what I expect from Nirvana.
Sticking to like their beliefs and like what they wanted to do, and you can hear it through the album. So this is Serve the Servants. It goes like this.
Again, very like, watching you play that, it's very big movements, just kind of not minding that you're hitting a lot of strings, but you've still got all of the intricacy as well.
Yeah, it's just a unique riff for using these. A B7.
This is just in E flat, but standard.
Yeah. You're right. I'm referring to the chords as like B and E, but there are going to be a semitone lower. But I'm just referring to the chord shapes here. So you got a B7, and even though I don't think he plays the major third, I hear like an E7 as well. Like that's just what I kind of think he's implying. I think he just hits the E and the D, and then.
So nice.
I don't know if he's hitting that that major third of the F sharp either, but I think it sounds cool with that. I think maybe sometimes he is. I think some people play it just those two, the open E and B string, but F sharp back down to an E. And again, he's going to be playing it in his own way. He might be not playing these full chords like I am, but I just think that's, to me, it sounds like Beatles-esque. I don't know what it is.
That's fair, yeah. Yeah, the jangly.
Yeah, it's just a bit 60s to me. Moving away from like the just like beefy power chords and including some sevenths, some dominant sevenths, and making them a bit more major and minor, depending on what you want.
Nice. Let's go to riff 4. This one, I think is a great choice because it immediately takes a turn away from, right now the previous 3 have been in your face, like this is the riff. Immediately we're starting this one with this nice, delicate, dynamic melody sequence. Then obviously it builds, you up the volume and you get all of the heft of
all
fuzz.
the fuzz, yeah. Right, so we're now in drop C sharp. I chose single coils as well for All Apologies. Again, some Nirvana expert can maybe say exactly what guitar and what pickup he was using.
That would be great. Let us know in the comments down below.
This riff is just so nice. So it's all around this kind of Mixolydian mode, which is one of the modes of the major scale where you're swapping the major 7 for a minor 7.
Okay, yeah.
But you're still playing a major third. So it sounds, if I just play a D Mixolydian scale, it'll sound like this. So instead of, you're just dropping that seventh.
Yeah. I'd love to know how much, and I don't know if there is something out there that does say, but how much theory Nirvana based around, or if it was just purely, this sounds cool.
Nirvana don't seem the kind of band to be like, right, let's get the music theory out.
Oh, bro, is that a Mixolydian? Yeah. Bro. Yeah.
I doubt it. I think he was, you know, which you don't need to do. Another tip is like, you don't need to know it, but just play around with what sounds cool. Because I don't think, I didn't know the names attached to these things either, but you know when you're just messing around and you just find cool sounds that you recognize or that you just come up with that sound cool. So starts off we're in, I'm gonna say D, but because we're tuned down as well as in drop, it's drop C sharp, so we're in the key of C sharp.
Right. It's really nice. And then in a little bit, he just nudges up volume and we get this really dynamic.
Yes, that's when he kicks in with, towards the end of the song, I think.
It's just so in your face.
Yeah.
It's just, that's amazing.
It's just a very interesting melody. It's moody, it's a bit creepy sounding, I think.
Yeah.
That sounds major, but it's just when you go, something weird's going on.
Yeah.
Just having that melody against that drone of the low C sharp just sounds so cool and very
really
atmospheric.
Yeah, it really does.
So, you know, you can experiment. I was, when in the prep for this video, when we were just messing around with tones, I just stuck some reverb on, a droning low E string.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you can just experiment. I mean, I was going a little bit more, you know, a different scale there. That's just where I was going.
But that's probably how he wrote the songs as well, is what I presume. Is he started there, be like, this sounds cool, and then you just experiment around and that's what you get. Should we go last riff?
Yes, let me switch over to, I think, the humbuckers I've chosen on this.
Excellent. So back onto the Seymour Duncans. So why did you choose the Seymour Duncans for this one?
It's a very beefy tone. I think he used humbuckers on these ones, so I just thought, let's go with the JB and the Jazz.
Let's hear what it sounds like. Now this is the only riff in this video that I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's personal favorite. I played it before in bands, and I just love it.
Yeah, I think this is actually one of my favorite guitar riffs ever.
Wow, yeah.
There's something about, and there's just the dissonance. It's so moody. I've also heard hip hop songs sample it. Just that. You put a drum machine behind that and some reverb.
Yeah, that's what
you can do it. Yeah.
In a Nirvana video.
It's just such a cool riff. I love bands and guitar players that use major and minor together and they just swirl it around and you don't even know what's going on. A completely different style and it doesn't sound alike, but there's something 9 Inch Nails about it.
Yes.
Trent Reznor also loves doing that. He does like major and then it's a bit creepy because it's kind of minor as well. It's all around, I'm gonna say A, it's gonna be A flat because we're also tuned to half step down as well as in drop, just remember that. So.
going to say about when it hits in the chorus and it's just this wall. Oh, it's amazing.
So satisfying. So satisfying to play that.
Both to play and listen to as well.
But that bend, you know, the way he separates the chords. His vocal melody on the Hey is, I think he's going from a. So when you pair that with the guitar, what the guitar is doing, it's just like
harmonizing with himself, basically.
Yeah, it's just so good. And so again, just experiment with mixing those major and minor chords, moody, atmospheric riffs with not a lot of technique, but a lot of feel and emotion. And I think that's a perfect riff, to be honest.
I agree. Great one to end on.
No Teen Spirit. Are you a bit unhappy about that, or are you fine?
No, I'm fine with that because Teen Spirit is such a well-known song by everybody. I don't think it needs to be talked about. Whereas what you've chosen there is great because I didn't know 4 of them. I knew the last one. Yeah, it's a good collection. If there's something we've missed, let us know in the comments down below because there's a few things like the pickups that he used and how he wrote the songs that if you know about it and we don't, that'd be really cool to know. But if you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in the Cream T LT, you can find a link in the description down below. Thanks for watching.